Hello, everyone. It is time for another episode of Masks Off. I'm Tia.
And I'm Kim.
And today we are super excited because we have kind of given a teaser about our True North class, but we are officially going to be starting it the 1st of March. And so we really felt it would be nice to just kind of give an overview of what this class is about, but really about how it's about putting all this wisdom into practice. And that's our intention. And so the quote that we're starting with today in this episode is a Queenism from Queenisms. She kept her trusty compass with her at all times to guide her through each new twist and turn on her journey. And when Kim and I read that quote, it just really was like, oh my gosh, we have to talk about True North today. It wasn't really our intention, but that because part of our aligning with your True North class is understanding what is your inner compass? How does it show up when the twists and turns of life? And so I had a recent experience with one of my daughters had an emergency appendectomy. And with COVID, first of all, an appendectomy surgery is a twist, right? And there was the added twist and turn of COVID, and that I couldn't go into the hospital with her. She had to navigate this all on her own because she's 20. And watching her walk into the ER all alone, knowing she potentially was going to be under anesthesia, at this time it was assumed appendicitis, it was not confirmed, and her having to navigate doctors and testing and decision making, even though she could text me and call. It's just, in my mind, I'm like, it's not the same. I'm not there. I need to be in the room with her. And as I sat in the parking lot of the ER, before I pulled out, because there was no point in staying and taking up a parking spot for someone else, because I couldn't do anything, I really had to go within and go, what's my compass? What guides me right now? This life is throwing me a curveball, throwing my daughter a curveball. Everything I thought would happen if there were ever an emergency visit didn't. So what is my inner compass doing? So it was really like re-tapping and bringing in all this wisdom and remembering to realign with what's true for me, knowing that I have the ability to navigate this, trusting she had the ability. And so we had another quote we want to share, and I'm going to bring in what that is right now. And so I really tapped into one of my True North values. So that's what part of our compass of the True North class. And it's self-awareness, because I was noticing my thoughts. I was noticing my anxiety. I was noticing that discomfort in my body. And so it was that through that self-awareness, through that remembering acceptance and trust and presence, that I was able to navigate that as best as I could. And so riding the waves for those next 24 hours, until I knew she was out of surgery and was okay. But even then, it's okay, when am I picking her up? How is this going to look? But it really was having that true north, that inner compass, that when life gives you twists and turns, where do you go? Do you get knocked off the mountain and fall down? Or do you re-find your balance, re-find your center, go within, and follow your own true north? So I mentioned self-awareness value, True North value. Kim, you want to read the next quote and then share your experience with your own True North compass?
Yes. So, and just as a reminder, I know that we mentioned this once a long time ago, why we keep talking about mountain analogies, like talking about and using a compass, is that we're using the mountain or climbing a mountain as a metaphor for life.
Right.
And in our course, True North, we use a lot of metaphors. We use a lot of mountain metaphors or analogies. We talk about having the compass, and we talk about paths, and we talk about, falling off the side of the mountain, or
your backpack.
Your backpack, a steep mountain versus more of a gradual climb. So if we're referencing that now and in the future, that's where that all comes from in our class.
Glad you brought that up.
Yeah, I just figured
I was just all excited talking about.
I know. I'm so excited to be teaching it with you. And also, just again, for people listening to this video right now and may not understand how the online course works, that it's going to be an online course. It's through Teachable, which is the platform. And there will be lessons that you will go through. And well, T and I are doing the whole course. It's 4 weeks long. We're doing it live.
For the first time. Yep.
For the first time through, which means that once a week, we will be coming together live on a Zoom call for an hour and doing a class with all of you. During the week, there are lessons that you will be looking at, PDFs and different things that you'll be going through on your own throughout the week and then coming together.
Mm-hmm. So putting it into practice, putting the wisdom into your life and being able to start to use it.
Exactly, because that's our intention for this course is to help people take wisdom and integrate it. It's one thing to learn something. It's one thing to read something, to hear something cognitively or intellectually. It's a whole other thing to integrate it and then actualize it. Exactly. So that's why we're giving concrete tools that you can put in your toolbox so that you can take it out and you can use it, practice it, and then integrate the teaching.
Exactly.
Again, no magic wands.
Right. And it takes time. No magic wand.
And because it does take time, it takes practice and it takes work.
But if you don't know where to start, where to take that first step,
right?
A lot of people get stuck. Like they know all of this in their head. It makes complete sense, but they don't know how to apply it. And that's why we wanted to really break this down in the way we felt makes it accessible and easy to start to take those first steps. Because if I didn't have my backpack full of these tools sitting in that emergency room parking lot, I don't know, I may have broke down, been paralyzed, I may have, the sympathetic nervous system, fight or flight, but I was able to return because of taking these steps, taking these action steps, integrating it. And that's with practice. But if we don't know how to do that, then we just stay stuck in our head and then we're on the thought train, right?
And often we don't even know what needs to go in a backpack. 100%, right? Again, the analogy, the backpack are the tools that we will be teaching and giving to help actualize and integrate the wisdom. And I certainly didn't when I started this journey.
Sure.
I didn't even know what I needed in my backpack.
Right.
I didn't even know how to navigate the waters, as that was one of our titles for one of our episodes. I was just reacting to everything in my environment. I still react to things in my environment. I still get triggered. When my daughter is in a state of anxiety or my son or something, my husband might say, the difference is that I know how to return to center or groundedness and go back to the wisdom because I have practiced and I have used the tools. I use the tools. That is the difference.
Right. And it's when you said go back and remember, that's our intention with True North is starting to identify for you and remembering it's always dynamic, but right now in this moment, what is the tool? What is the guidance? What is your inner knowing? So you can return to that state that you were just talking about. Because if you don't even know what that is for you, how can you go there?
You can't. And it's the same thing with the values because I had no idea what my value system was because I had the people pleaser mask, the rescuer mask, the fix it mask. I was so focused on the other that I didn't even have the practice or the wisdom to know how to focus on myself long enough to identify what my values were. So I didn't have a value system that was helping me to navigate. So here is the quote, because we talked about the quote. So the quote is, we did not practice the pronunciation of the name. You're going to have to help me with that one.
I listen. Idowu Koyenikan.
Okay, great So what Tia said, and the quote is by that person, a highly developed values system is like a compass.
Yep.
That's why we use compass. It serves as a guide to point you in the right direction when you're lost.
Right. Because we get lost all the time in life, right?
All the time.
When we're reactive, when we're just overwhelmed, all of that. So the compass.
Yeah.
Right?
Taken over by the waves, like the tsunami waves, the hurricane force waves, you know, just taking over, pummeling over you without having any way of knowing how to survive. How do you not drown? How do you survive?
Right.
So that's how the value system helps in that.
Exactly. So
so
share a little bit about your
right.
value
So
system
for
experience.
me, and I actually started back in August, took a 12-week course with one of my favorite teachers, Deborah Hanlon. She taught us about that. Well, taught about many things, but one of the things that we did was to really focus in on creating a value system. And so I created, mine was called an I am board. So it was I am with like the things that are important to me. What is important to me? And some of those things I had on there were connection, inner harmony, peace, you know, well-being, those types of things. And while they're still part of my value system, one of the things that I had on there was the financial independence and financial independence and growth. While that is still important to me, what I've learned or where I've readjusted and realigned through having COVID, because we talked so many times in our podcast before how I didn't have balance and I didn't have boundaries when it came to work. I would just keep going all the time, you know, just when you're working for yourself, there's no like 5 o'clock check out, clock out.
Right.
And so I was spending so much of my time on the work that I was losing sight of some of the things that are really important to me, such as connection with others. And being alone in isolation for that period of time, it helped me to realign that and to see that connection with others and relationships is really important. Because at the end of my life, when I leave this existence, what I feel is going to be most important to me and I'm going to reflect on is how were my relationships with people? Were they strong? Did I spend time with them? Was I connecting? Was I really connecting, like on a heart to heart? So that's what came up for me in COVID, you know, and being quarantined in isolation. So I was like, so then now that I'm recovering and I'm back to getting back into, I'm still going to do my work because I still want to serve. I still love doing sessions. I still love doing this podcast. I love that we're going to be teaching and I still want to do all of that. And I want to have balance and boundaries so that I can still connect with others. So having created all of those values and checking in over and over, whether or not I'm in alignment. And I'll know when I'm not, because if I'm not in alignment, I'll be busy, you know, and going, do, being a human doing and not a human being. And I will feel more angst. I'll feel more overwhelmed, more pressure. You know, my inner peace will be disrupted and probably, so those will be the signs that I'm not in alignment with my core values.
Right. So would you say right now, because in our class, we talk about, you know, so we go through values, we go through intentions, we go through all this other stuff that we can share. If anyone has questions, we're happy to, you know, explain more, but it's on the page to sign up, some of it, as that your true north value right now is connection. relationship? What would you say your true
Yes.
north value right now is?
I think it is. I think it's, you know what it is? I think one other thing that COVID really taught me also was just like kind of slowing down. So
I
it's
loved
just
your pause right there.
right. Yeah. It's slowing down.
Mm-hmm.
And when I slow down, then I can cultivate those relationships. It's just slowing down.
Love it.
There's no race. There's no rush. There's no fire to run from. And it's just like really, it's about being in the moment, slowing down and being in each and every moment. And that can even be being connected in it with others, connected with myself, and connected with connect with the moment, whatever the moment is. Because we talked about that in the last couple of episodes. Not every single moment is going to be all sunshine and rainbows.
Nope.
And that's okay. But I'm still learning how to connect with the moment, how to connect with others, and how, it's just slowing down. Yeah. That is my true north value.
And so what I'm hearing too is there's the value, and then we're in process of determining your true north intention. So to be clear, like this is a dynamic process. We'll do it, and then life will throw us a twist or turn, and then we'll do it again and we'll revisit, because if we just think everything is static all the time,
right?
Like that quote, it's the twists and the turns of the journey. And so it's revisiting. And so Kim and I are going to be going through all of these practices with you with a beginner's mind, right, in determining our true north value and our true north intention, and all of the other 3 modules as well. So, because as we continue to move along this journey, climb this mountain, this valley, and it's a mountain range, it's not a single mountain when we refer to that it is important for, no matter how far along you are on your journey, wherever you're at on your awakening stage, that we return and revisit and realign and adjust, just like you had to do with COVID. It made you rethink and reintegrate all of those teachings to another level. So
yeah, 100%.
I mean, one of my values, like I said, was the self-awareness. So I will be curious when we start this on the 1st, and I revisit everything again with where I am in that present moment, like you said, slowing down. So what will my intention be for True North? What will my intention be? What will my values system look like right now? Because between the time of this recording and when we start the class, who knows what twist and turn life is going to give and what realignment I may need. And so it's important, as we provide you and give you these opportunities to actually put the wisdom into practice, that you meet these practices in the moment that are true for you. So I think, like you said, you hadn't determined your own value system before, because you were probably leading potentially from, family values, cultural values.
Totally.
Because we have all these masks on. So it's peeling those off and finding out, what is my truth? What is my compass, my true north? Because mine is not yours. I just didn't even
know how to do that.
Well, how would you?
I was never taught. It was not something that was valued for me to figure out what my own. You just took on your family values and, like you said, cultural values. So it's like, how did I know?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And then how can we put all of this incredible wisdom that we have, that other wisdom teachers have, that our listeners have been learning over the years with whoever they are listening to and learning from? Because the wisdom is pretty universal, but it's how we interpret it and how we live it.
Right.
Because we're all individuals living in this world. It's we're all the ocean.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. So what do we need to say about logistics of it? You just mentioned, for one, it does begin on March 1st.
Yep.
And you can start signing up even now.
Yeah.
So there's just a few, let's see, this is 25th. So a few days still. left
to
sign up.
And you'll have
they
access.
Have questions. If anybody has questions, you can email us, or you can, once you log into Teachable, you can put a question in there.
Right. Yeah. So we'll post the link in the show notes. It's on if you go to Teachable and you search for Masks Off, you should be able to find our school, and it's there as well. So you just sign up right through Teachable and you'll get access to the course. Now it is going to be dripped out the first time. So it'll eventually become an evergreen course after, we may do a live one every now and then, just as a touch-in. So you'll have access to it, but so it will be dripped out over the month of March as we go through our 4 weeks together. So you're not going to have access to everything right away. And that's very purposeful, because we want you to go bit by bit. Because to be honest with you, there is a lot of information in this class, and it can be overwhelming.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about this on our first live class too, that here's the information. And if you don't get it all done, that's okay. You have to go at your own pace, because the information will be there and you can go back and revisit. Because oftentimes when you really start to put these tools into practice, it can get overwhelming and you need time to integrate.
Exactly.
So while it's 4 weeks, if it takes you 8 weeks, 12 weeks, whatever for you, that's the exact perfect path for you.
Yeah.
But we're there to help and guide.
I'm super excited, and we do hope that you will join us. And thank you for anything else about True North before we end the podcast?
No, I can't wait to get started.
I know, me too. I'm super excited. So glad that we're finally getting started.
Yeah, we've been teasing this one for a while, and life has given us lots of
twists and turns. That's it. And we're just flowing with it.
Right.
So we're super grateful for you listening today. And always, if you're willing to like, subscribe, comment,
share with friends,
let us know.
All right.
We appreciate your listening. We appreciate the continued support. So thank you so much, everybody. Have a great day.
And hopefully we'll see you in True North if it speaks to you. Take care.
Yes.
Bye.